Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm having a really crappy day, so I'm not even gonna put the video up. So I apologize on that. So anyway, I do have a bit to show for the pre-show. I do have the papers that I have done so far for the Halloween version of Garden Gate 3. I'm still debating on the name of it, and these are not up on the website yet. They're not in the accounts of those with those kits, nor have I put the papers up yet because I'm trying to get them fully complete before I do that. I'm super happy with these. I think they're some of my favorites I've done yet. It's not what you would consider a traditional Halloween, as I've said from the very beginning. It's more that just kind of darker, macabre, I wouldn't even call it gothic, but just that darker kind of feel to them, without them being, excuse me, that, you know, cutesy trick-or-treat pumpkins and Halloween costumes type thing. It's more a lot more moths. You know, as everybody knows, I love dragonflies and butterflies, and I actually love moths too. I have done a couple of moth quilts back in the past, and I find moths, and they're very kind of less glorious coloring than butterflies, to be very intriguing, and they're more associated with night and dusk and darkness and that sort of thing. I've also included some Luna moths in there, which are the kind of aqua towards green moths. I've never actually seen a real one, but I think they're one of the cooler looking moths. They have some really cool shape to them and stuff. So with this paper, I've kind of gone in that direction. Things are a little bit different in terms of the styles. I think every collection I do, I come up with something a little, I learn more, obviously, and I experiment and try things, which is what I think I've always done with all of my work, whether it's in 3D or in albums, which some of you I know appreciate. Others, it's like I almost go too much, you know, with my trying new things instead of finding one thing and kind of sticking with it. I know other designers have kind of done that, to where they do the same kind of project and they do it multiple times, or they find like a binding method and go with just that. But I have this bad tendency in my head to just keep saying what if, and trying new things, and so I never stick to one that long. So I kind of take you guys on quite the little journey with all of my stuff, but it's how my brain works. So so I love how this collection has come out. I'm super excited about it. So the papers don't have names yet, and again, the collection doesn't have a name yet, so hopefully I will have that all together by Friday, because we will be using these papers then on Sunday. I also have to work on the schedule. On Sunday we'll be starting on the album. So anyway, here's the first one. It's a little bit different take on the stripe, where it has kind of a lunar shape, and then one of the lunar moths in there. There's some little birds in there for joy. And there's this one, kind of more of a collage kind of look, and then kind of a creepy gate, and then with a framed moth. And you could also actually even cut this out and put a picture behind it, or cut this out and put a photo back, or cover it over with a photo. Here's another gate, kind of an X-ray type gate, and again doing a band with kind of some creepy trees at the top and the bottom, with the dark stuff in the middle, and not have it being so all over. And then another one that's got the bands at the top and the bottom, with a leaf with the moth on it. And then a dark background one with some moss on there. And then a light one with the moths on it. You can't have darkness without light, nor can you have light without darkness, or else you wouldn't be able to tell that light is light and dark is dark. another dark background. It's got a couple of little moths down here. And of course I have to have a stripe. And then an all over pattern with a couple of different moths. And then I did some bugs, but I didn't want them to look like bugs because everybody would get creeped out by them being just bugs. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different styles of bugs that are done into a pattern. And then just kind of a dark behemoth of moths. Oh, joy, joy, joy. And just kind of the kind of all over type look papers. Some skeleton leaves. Again, trying to go for like a dark night feel versus a Halloween cutesy feel. And these are actually, again, another all over pattern. There's 4 moths that form kind of a pinwheel, and then those are repeated, so it creates a pattern with the moth thing. And then an owl, because I wanted another bird in there for joy, so it's got an owl with some shadows of the moths and kind of just a darkish background. So I still have the journaling cards to do, and but I'm stoked. I think I like the dark ones the best. I don't know why. But I'm super happy with these. I think these are going to make a really cool looking book. And color wise, it's in the violets, the blues with some golden and kind of mauve type colors in it. So, which goes with the kind of colors that are in that are, you know, part of the house itself. So color wise it kind of goes a little less traditional. It's not, you know, orange and black and purple and green and all those kinds of colors, and doesn't necessarily have to be Halloween, because I know a lot, you know, there's people from other countries that don't do Halloween, so I wanted to just go for the dark side kind of. Maybe I'll just call it the dark side. I don't know. Or something to do with the night, but not creepy. I was just going for that darker feel. So anyway, that is the collection for that, and I've showed a couple times the pieces I've got, or the pages I've got put together for the fairy version, and I'm working on getting those completed once I have these done. So we'll be using these on Sunday. I will be working on the book using these, and I'll also maybe we'll do that on Sunday, maybe on Wednesday we'll do the work on a page or so in the fairy book. The book will be done as a as I have done with most of my projects that go into a 3D project. It will be a video tutorial for the construction of the pages, and then we'll do the embellishment of the pages on the show. So but I'm happy with these. Touching on my dark side a little bit. So maybe bringing in the dark will let some light in, because I'm ready for to start having some good stuff happening. All right, so I got the fence on the back, but the glue is come off here. So stick that down again, and because what we're going to work on today is embellishing this guy. Okay, so that seems to be stuck down. I haven't made the box that goes in the back of this one yet. I do have it done for the other version. So did I not bring up? I don't think I brought. I'm gonna have to run downstairs and get the rest of the stuff for the little lanterns. I thought I had it all up here, but I don't. So I'm gonna need to run downstairs for that real super quick. So let me put that up and I'll be right back. Alrighty, sorry about that. I'm back. Alright, what I want to start out with is to work on the little lamps that go, these little lamp guys that go on the top of the columns. It's one of those kind of days. So with our covered wire, I do about 4 to 4.5 inches. And this is a 22 gauge wrapped wire. This is not an uncommon material. You find it in the floral department at like Hobby Lobby or Joann's or stores like that that have the floral supplies. So So, and with this, to start with at the bottom, and I have jewelry making pliers. You can just use a pair of needle nose pliers, any kind of needle nose pliers, and those will work. And you probably need a wire cutter, but actually this gauge of wire is light enough that you can cut them with your Tim scissors. All right, so I'm just going to take, and you could do this probably with your fingers, but you're going to get a better fold over with a plier. So I've just taken, and at the bottom, done like 1/4 of an inch. Wire doesn't have to be super straight, though I try to straighten it out as best I can. It's pretty bendy wire, so it's pretty easy to work with. So then at the top, I'm just going to take, and you're just going to roll it over to make a little loop, and then using the flat of my pliers, I'm going to just make this spiral. So you can see I'm just spiraling it with my pliers, keeping it to flatten that out so it's make a spiral. Now I can also take and make this spiral a little bit bigger and wider by just kind of messing with it. You can also do this part by hand. And you want it to end up being, let's see, that's a little bit shorter, anywhere from around 2.5 inches. So I'm going to take this anywhere like 2 to 2.5 inches tall. So that one is 2.5 inches tall. So I've got the little hook at the bottom, or a little 90-degree bend at the bottom, and then it goes up into a spiral. The spiral does not have to be in any way, shape, or form perfect. All right, so then we're going to fold over on the second one, and we're going to try to make these as close to being the same size as we can. So I'm just going to make the little hooky loop at the top, and then just using your pliers, you're actually bending it into the spiral with your opposite hand. You're just using the pliers to hold it so it stays kind of flat. Make sure this is pretty flat. Okay, so as I said, you can do this with your fingers as well. And we want these to be approximately the same size. An L shape at the bottom. Thank you, Joy. That was the word I was looking for. So those about 90 degrees at the bottom there. So now we've got those done. You can dots and dots all around with them a little bit. I have to take this one apart. This is the ones. Come back here, bead. Now I'll show you the one I'm doing right now for the Halloween, and then I'll show you what I did differently on the fairy one. They're very similar. So I have two little skull beads. I have two little beads which are supposed to be kind of the lamp. And then I also come on. Oh, this ribbon is what's in the way. The ribbon and the spider. It's always the ribbon and the spider in the way. Okay, so then I need 4 head pins, or 2 head pins and 2 eye pins. These beads want to run away, so we'll put them up there. Okay. Just mess that up. I ran into my thing I glued and just knocked the fence off again for the third time. Yeah, I went out and got ink. I haven't gotten glue or score tape because the place where I get the score tape's about 45 minutes away. And I haven't had 45 minutes to spare, so... Alright, so I need the other half of these. Alright, so then I have these little bead caps. Now, bead caps you can get in any jewelry making type place. I have two different styles of them. But little bead caps, and what they're supposed to do is they go on a bead to where they're cupped to go around a larger bead, kind of like that. But we're using those as parts on our so, and I have two different styles. So one's on the base and one's on the one's on the base and one's on the lamp part. I then have, these are little vintage, I got years ago at a bead thing, kind of like CHA, but it was a bead thing. And I have them, in this one I have them in black and red, and I think I have them in pink and green on the fairy version. And these are little bead caps that are shaped like flowers out of lucite. But you can use other, you know, they're just in there because they look cute. All right, so what we're going to start out with is a head pin and a eye pin are different. An eye pin has a loop at the end, and a head pin has either a flat, like a pin, you know, to pin things together, or in this case it has a little ball on the end. But they're used in different ways. A loop pin is if we're going to hang something off of the pin. Now, in the fairy version, I just use the head pin and I put a couple of larger beads, and then it has a relatively large bead that makes the lamp. With this one, we're going to have a little dangle with this little skull bead. And so we've got our little head pin that will come up through the skull bead and it stops. So then we're going to make a little loop at the top. And I'm just going to take, well, actually you can trim it off. You can trim, once you have that little bead on there, you can trim it off at just over like 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch. You trim it off so it's just extending out. And then you can take your pliers and make a loop. You can use your needle nose pliers. If you've got fat nose needle nose pliers, you probably need to make it more like 1/2 inch. But see, we're just making a little loop at the top. And I'm going to do that with both of these little skull beads. If you want to, you can leave the skull bead off. If you don't want to have the little skull bead on there, that's fine. So I'm going to trim this off about 3/8 of an inch. Or more, depending on what your pliers are. I just know that 3/8 works good with my pliers. But if you have a fatter nose plier, then use a little bit longer length. So I've got those little guys done. And see, these will then be able to hook on to this little loop on the eye pin. So on the eye pin, I am going to take the bead, which is representative of the lamp. I would have liked to have found larger beads, but I couldn't find them. I would have loved to have found these, but I couldn't. These are just in my stash and I didn't have enough. I would have loved to have found these little bit larger ones that have black in the center. So if you have a larger bead like that, I'm going to use these because this is the ones I wanted to use. And then I am putting on, I'm putting the little red flower cap on, and then I can use either, I think I want the other one, the other bead cap, Or you can kind of experiment around and say, oh, do I want the bead cap on and then the flower? Yeah, that's the way I like it. I like the metal bead cap and then the flower bead cap. So again, then once I get that all threaded on there, let's see if I like how that's going to work for that. Now, let me see. I think I like, but at the base, I want, no, that's the way I want it. Okay. So I'm going to put the bead cap on first. And then the red flower. And once I have it strung the way I want it, I can again trim it off. And again, if you don't have wire cutters, your Timmy scissors will, this wire is of a skinny enough, so I want a relatively nice size hole because I have to go through my wire there. So then I'm going to take and open this guy up. Now when you're opening a circle up, a circle of wire that's flat, you don't open up this way because you can't get it back to that circle. What you do is you open it up, split. You split this way and not this way. So I'm gonna, whoops, that's not the one I want to open up. It's on this guy. So I'm gonna split it open and then put it through the loop there, and then I close it. And I just broke the head pin off. That was not smooth. Let's go with this one. Okay. I think I'm going to open up the one on the bead itself instead of this one because I broke it off in the other. If you bend metal too much, it will fatigue and then fail. So head pins and eye pins are easy to find at the big box craft stores. They have them at Michael's, they have them at Joann's, they have them at Hobby Lobby. They come in a package of like 30 of them. Okay, so I'm going to have my little bead hanging off the bottom there. And then this is going to hang on our little loop guy here. Now before I put them on there for good though, I want to take my little my other metal bead cap and then our little flower bead cap. I need to make sure this wrapping, you might need to put some glue on it in order to get the flower bead cap on because it might have a little bit tighter. Is this making sense to everybody? I'm not seeing questions, so I'm hoping so. Come on. Alright, so I might need to straighten this out, and I'm going to strip off some of this. The covering on it. Come off of there. Now you don't want it to come off, it'll come off. But when you do want it to come off, it won't. Alright, so I just went up that 1/4 of an inch so that I can get it. I can get this guy on there. I didn't have any problems with the green. The brown must be a little bit heavier. Put my fold back in there, my bend, my L-shaped bend, and then go up and around it. There, and then fold it back down. I didn't have this much trouble with the fairy one. Okay. And then you just muck around with a little bit till it's straight. Okay, so basically I'm just giving it a little base. So I'm going to put a little of my hot glue in there because it's fast, right at that L. Get it to where it's semi-flat. And then I'm going to glue the metal bead cap down to the little flower bead cap. Slide that down. And that gives a little base so my lamp then will stand up. So you can see how that's given me a little base on there. And I apologize that this is not coming out. When I go up close, it's one of those things where if I put the autofocus on so it'll let me focus up close, and then those of you who've been around, it tends to want to focus on too many things, so it tends to pump. Okay, so then I can trim a little bit of that wire off so then it'll stand up, and then I can take this little guy and hang it off of there. Looks better hanging, but it's hard to show it hanging. So that's my little lamp that I can then, it won't stand up because this is too heavy, but this gives me something, this I can then glue on the top of the column. So let me do the other one real quick. I only have a black head pin to do this guy with, but that's fine. Doesn't have a big enough head on the head pin. Improvise. That'll work. Does this make sense to everybody? Actually, before I string everything on there, I'm going to go ahead and get this guy on the bottom of it so it's a lot easier to do. And then I can put this guy on, and then this guy on, and then the red one on, and then trim it off. Okay. And then, since I'm taking the wrapping off of this one, it seems to not want to have the wrapping on to get these beads to go on. Okay, so now the metal one goes on first, and the black one, and then bend it back over again. Go on there. Glue that down in there so he stays. And glue the metal guy on top. Okay, so then on that little tail of wire sticking out, I can snip it off.
Sorry, I couldn't find anything.
Nothing like Siri suddenly deciding she wants to talk because I picked my phone up and moved it and hit the button when I moved it. It's one of those kind of days. Alright, so then this will go on and hang there. So that gives me my two little lamps ready to go onto the columns. Put all this wire stuff away. Alright, so now we're ready to start adding embellishments. I'll put these on after I stand it back up again, but because I'm going to lay it down to be doing some of the embellishment stuff, I'll get all these goodies. We got some pumpkins. We got some long foliagey stuff. We got a spider. We got some leaves. And we got our little Tim Holtz skull and crossbones. And they are going to go on the front of our gates. Lois, I'll let you know before I put the spider on. I'll move it out of view. Sorry. Now these hang pretty straight when it's not laying down. Right now they're tipping in. But you can put a little closure on them like I did on the fairy house. Those instructions are in the pattern. And I still need to finish up the roof pattern. I was trying to get that done for today, but I didn't get that. So these guys are going to go here. I am going to have to stand it up a little, and I'll stand it up and take it down just so that I can start putting some of this stuff in here. Okay, so we should have... You should have a long and a short of these, so you can trim some of this stuff off. So one's for one side, one's for the other. Then on this thing, put my wire cutters out. Again, your Timmy scissors will chomp on this. So one for one side, one for the other. And you'll have one extra. Maybe I'll put that somewhere in the front. This guy here. So it's 3 on one side. Oh, no, wait, I did it. Okay, so it is 3. Oh, no, there is one extra. Okay, that one is extra. So 3 for one side, 3 for the other. And then there's leaves. So I kind of got it split up so that then these all go on just one side or the other. So I don't put too much on one side and not enough on the other. So just kind of cut these. The wire cutters, scissors. The wire cutters are here, so I'm using them. I shouldn't. Where are my scissors at? I don't know where my scissors went. Nope, scissors are right here. Alright, so then I'm going to take these guys. And this one that's got some really long ones on it. And I have, these are also the same foliage. It's there's some of these also in the fairy version. Okay, my brain doesn't want to work. Okay, so I'm gonna move my hot glue closer. Oh, so my problem is I need my phone. I'm not touching my phone because Siri wakes up. All right, so I'm gonna just kind of glue this into the back corner. See if I can do that without totally burning my fingers off. Okay. I'm just kind of gluing these leaves down, kind of making a covering. There, if I do that, you guys can see a little bit then. And I'm just gluing it down on the kind of stem. Put them up on the wall a little bit here too. Well, Allie, that was a very heavy sigh. And then we can also do some punch leaves like I did on the fairy one too. So you can add more leaves with punched or die cut ones. Alright, so there you can see I've just done a bunch of those guys. Maybe I'll put the pumpkin so that I don't take up too much space. Okay, why does that always happen is that's when I decide to run out of glue, right when I'm putting a bunch on. Okay, so then a little blob of blue of glue there. I'm going to stick him back in the corner. Hold him kind of in place until he sticks. Same with this one, kind of right behind the pumpkin. I'm not afraid to put a blob of glue on there, making sure he's not going anywhere. Then, if you need to, with these little strands, fronds, you can kind of get them to glue into place if you need them to, if you want them going in a specific direction. And same thing with these guys. Put a little blob of glue. You could actually bend a kind of a little base on these if you wanted to. So if I bend a little base onto the bottom, I'll show this to you. It's hard to do this and have it so where you guys can see it at the same time. So let me just get these stuck down and then I'll show it to you and mess with it a bit. Let's see if I can move this down and maybe it'll work better. Can see what I'm, no, I can't really see what I'm doing yet. Last one down. Okay, so then I can cut these guys into even smaller pieces so they can go up here at the front. Same with these guys back here. I can, if I want a couple of these guys to go up here on the top to go with this guy, I trimmed a couple pieces off. But anyway, so you can now see just by, got my little pumpkin, we can bend these guys around once this is dry to get them, giving you the maximum amount of 3D-ishness. So that just adds some cute little color and foliage beside. Let's do it on the other side. Let me see if I can get it to where you can see a little bit. Okay, that's the short. Okay, the long one then can come apart, and it has one that slips down inside. So just trim this by one of the leaves. Do the same sort of thing. Doesn't have to be exactly the same, but same sort of thing that we did on the other side. You could absolutely add some moss. Yeah, well, see, and that's what we were talking about before on one of the last shows about glues and stuff. As Joy says, hot glue does not work in her climate. And this is about the only thing that I really use hot glue for. And then I go back in, and especially on some of these when I can let them sit, I'll go back in with like glossy accents and or glue and add some glue in there. For this security, like I'll shoot some glue in and underneath that pumpkin to make sure he doesn't disappear, doesn't come off on me. In about year and a half, 2 years is usually about the time that the hot glue starts to kind of come apart a bit and lose its glueness, adhesiveness, which is why I've never liked using hot glue much other than for things like this. So there I've just added some leaves. And then our second pumpkin. You could also have put these pumpkins up on the columns, because these could actually come out from the wall and hang up from the wall. You could probably make this a little bit shorter, but this could go up against the wall and these hang down if you'd rather do that, something like that. And then you could put the pumpkins on top of the columns. Okay, tuck this guy back into the corner. Okay, so he wants to fall down, so I'm going to stick a little glue back in the corner for him to, and since my cast iron fingers are not feeling terribly cast iron, I can take my scissors and hold him back in the corner with my scissors. Monica Rondon has always said I had cast iron fingers when it comes to hot glue and stuff. Alright, so then we've got this one. You might also, if you straighten that across the bottom, it then can stand up a little bit better. And you just kind of put the stuff in as you see it needs something in that spot. You can leave, ouch, hello, that's hot. And then if you get any of the little glue string things here, they can be either considered cobwebs, or you just run your embossing tool. Yeah, that felt really good. Your embossing tool on there, and it will melt them away. Okay, put this leaf over the top. Hold all those guys down. They can kind of just fall down. Okay, I'll leave that up there for that. Maybe trim another. Let's go with this guy in the front. Okay, so let's maybe spread these guys a little beforehand. Bend little bases on them. This one I kind of bent to the shape of the pumpkin because he's going to tuck right in behind around the pumpkin. And as I said, we can add, there's that side, we've got that side, so we can add what we seem to, if we seem to need to add anything further, we can always add some punched leaves. Let me get these guys glued on there. Little lamps up. The little skulls facing forward. And then we can put a little bit of these little greenery pieces. And I'm just gluing those onto the little wire base. And we'll also add, you can add some punched leaves. But yeah, moss, if you got some moss left over from other projects, which the amount of moss that has gone out, you should. I had meant to put moss in these kits, but I've got a huge box of moss. And I just, in trying to get them out quickly, I kind of lost sight of the fact that I needed to do moss bags. So But everybody who ordered the Halloween kit, I know, has probably some moss around. Okay, don't look, Lois, because I'm going to put the spider on up at the top. He's glued down. Sarah knows all about glued down spiders. Whenever she sees a spider in her room, first she screams, but if nobody's home and she has to take care of it herself, she's so funny because she takes her hairspray. She's done to about 3 spiders now. She's literally glued them either to the wall or to the floor with hairspray. I'm like, how I'm ever going to get the hairspray off of things, I don't know. But all right, so there's how that's looking. I still have to finish putting the bands on here, but that gives us our stuff on the sides, add some color. I think that's coming out super cute. I'm gonna have to do a little closure for the door, and that is in the pattern on, because it stays generally, but it also, but then again, I kind of like it kind of creepily falling open, but I can also put a little closure on there. But I show you how to do that. Now, one thing I wanted to do is around this top, I wanted to bring more of this blue in and have a blue band. And so I haven't added it into the accounts yet, but I did do a blue wood so that I can do that blue trim around that top edge. So I'm going to cut it up here where there's more blue and less dark. And I just want it to be, we'll probably do 1/2 inch, because I'm going to do some 1/2 inch strips of the let's see, I'll be able to do it out of 2, yeah, of the chipboard, so of the lightweight chipboard. So do a 1/2 inch strip of that. You killed a Black Widow WD-40. Yeah, you sound like Sarah's kind of girl. Sarah, when I was in New Hampshire last week, Sarah went for a drive, and there was a spider climbing up the hood of the car. And I don't know if you guys have seen, there was a video going around, I think it was on either YouTube or Twitter or something, of a spider, and I mean a big old spider, coming out of a vent in a car, and it's like Sarah goes, oh, I crushed the car. So the fact that she had it crawling up the hood, I told her later, well, you know, it could have gone down in the vent, and then she totally completely panicked at that. But she she said it hung on for the longest time on the car while she drove. So finally it blew off, but it was a big old spider. It was a big scary one, and she's deathly afraid of spiders. Okay, this isn't as blue as I wanted it to be, so I may fiddle around with this paper and blue it up a little bit more before I load it into the accounts. Hey, whatever works, you know. Now, my husband will capture them and take them outside. And as for the most part, I just leave them be. But Sarah's like, nope, it's him or me. She's always so funny when she's talking to boys, too. She always asks if they can deal with killing a spider. And if they can't, she says, nope, sorry, we can't date. If you can't kill spiders, we can't date. Or get rid of spiders. I guess she doesn't say kill them. They just have to be able to get rid of them. If they're afraid of spiders too, then sorry, you're out. I can deal with spiders. Spiders, not too bad. Snakes, nope. Sorry, don't do snakes. I don't know, this little bit of blue. Yeah, I think it's the right amount of blue. I don't know if I'd want it more blue, so I might not. I'll see if I like it better if I mess with it. But I'll add it on. Now, you can use the papers that are on the exterior of this in the album as well. Though when the paper collection goes up, it won't be, it won't have the exterior papers in it. So the exterior papers only go to those with the digital or shippable kits. If you order just the papers that I showed earlier in the show, the brick and the roofing and all that are not included in that collection. Alright. So this is going to go. Oh, will it go from the center? Oh, that'll work even better. All right. Obviously, I've not gone to get my score tape yet, since I'm still gluing stuff. This is going to wrap around the corner. And it trims about 1/4 inch off. So that adds, it picks up the blue from the door and brings it in up above. I like that. Okay, I obviously didn't stand dead center because I have to cut like 1/2 inch off of this side, so close enough though. Yeah, so that adds that little extra trim on there. And then obviously you could add, if you wanted to add little spider webby stuff on here, things like that. You absolutely could do that, but in general, that's kind of, it's funny how the little stuff that's on the door, it makes it look like he's got little devil horns on him. So I want to do a few punched leaves just to add some extra to it. So one of the cardstocks included in the kits is a dark green, so let me use that. So I'm going to use kind of this oak type leaf or grape leaf, and then this one's kind of a fern-like leaf. So we'll just punch a bunch of those. And I got a row of those. Just cut like 1.5 inches off. Then I don't have to have this big old piece of paper. So this paper, I gotta stand up to do this. It's hurting my back to do it otherwise. So I'm gonna do like half a dozen. Then I'll fix my camera. One direction. Because this paper has texture on it. So I'm going to turn around and do them so that they're going the other way. So these are going one way, these are going to go the other. Yep, those are going the same way. I got to turn it over. Now it's that right way. Okay, so those are all going that way. I'll just have fewer go into that direction. Alright, that's fine. I could have gotten more out of there if I were being more careful, but gives us some to work with. Those stupid marbles. Did a little inking. Let's see what other color inks I've got here. Oh wait, let's go with some of the frayed burlap oxide stuff. I like how that looks. Not dark enough. Okay. I'm gonna have to break down and buy some more of the oxides. We'll just stick with my good old vintage photo. Add the veining so they end up looking a little bit more like real leaves then. Crumple them. But there's any number of leaves and that sort of thing that you can do die cuts or punches. Sorry if I missed any does anybody have any questions? I haven't been looking at, I've been focused on this. I haven't even been looking at the chat. I'm so bad. So hopefully I haven't missed any questions. These I'm just gonna kind of touch the edge just to give them a little bit more dimension by having some additional color on there. So I end up with brown inky fingers that I have to remember to scrub off before I go out to go to the grocery store, because otherwise I look like I've got some sort of disease. Sarah gets always, well, not so much. Well, she probably does. She just doesn't mention it as much. It's like, oh my God, Mom, your fingers are brown or green or whatever color I'm inking. If I do it now, it comes off easier. Well, I'll have to use the scrubby to get it all off anyway. Okay, so then we can just kind of, I'm going to put, let's see, where's some decent ones? There's a good one. Put these back behind the lamp. Oh, no, Deborah, I said I might do a Christmas version if I can get other stuff done. No, I didn't commit to doing a Christmas version. Oh my goodness. I need to teach myself to not say things because I get myself in trouble then. It's like if I have enough time to do a Christmas paper. It all depends on what other Christmas projects I'm doing too. So if I'm doing other Christmas, because I just don't know what kind of time we're gonna have. So I'm so far behind. I get so discouraged because I just feel like I'm never gonna get caught up, and I know many of you are gonna start getting really annoyed with me, even though you've been super supportive. So. Just adding some stuff in here and there. I only have the one holiday paper because I haven't been doing the digital papers long enough to have more than that. I have the one from last year that we used on the train, and it's not a really full collection. See, this is where we have that last one of these guys. Remember the extra? Let's put him up there. This one's something to fill up some space up there. Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, come on, let go. This is why I hate hot glue. It gets stuck to everything. The lantern paper is just wood. It's wood and metal. There's no Christmas in that collection though, Christine. No, it was the hot glue grabbed some of the old hot glue that's on the little mat, and since it's on a non-stick mat, it doesn't stick, and then it just, yeah. Ow! Then I just put my hand on the hot glue again. I'm a hot mess. So I'm going to let my thumb stay there until it cools enough. And then if you pull it off, it doesn't bring a string of stuff with it. So that's why I tend to keep my finger there. When my finger gets stuck in the glue, if it's not so hot that it's burning me, if I just leave it there till it lets go. Okay, hopefully that doesn't look too Christmassy. I think I'll add some black to the red. I'm going to take some of my black ink on these red beads, tone them down so they don't look quite so Christmassy. I just wanted the pop of the color there. That looks better. That gives you what the front kind of looks like. It would be cool to take some red paint and have like something drip down off of those. I'm so gross. But it's there. I'm pleased with it. I think it came out cute. The camera's wackadoodling. So then, as I said, we'll work on the album then on Sunday. But let me talk a little bit about the fairy one real quick and some things that are different on it. I think there's one kit left of the Halloween, and I think there's 2 kits left of the fairy. Now what I did on this one, it has a little bit more foliage that goes on the side. It's got the same one that we've used here, but then it's got some different ones. And then I put some of the flowers in there as well, since we don't have the pumpkins. And put the foliage and one of the flowers each on the lamps. And then I did all these punched leaves. So I did a little punch flower back behind the butterfly. And then these are just punched leaves that I've added on. We got a little frog down here. Another little frog up here on the roof. On this wire, I've taken and bent it to the shape of my roof with the curls at each end. And then I've added the little punched leaves that go on both sides. So it's almost like a little crown, a little flower crown. So and there's, you know, the little lamps. I did a little curly on each side of the gate here with the little leaves on there. And this is the little closure that I'll probably do. Is just has a little and this is in the pattern, showing you how to do that. It's just got a little swing thing, because then you can put a photo underneath here and then rotate that and it'll hold it closed. And you can do the same thing on the gate if you wanted to, but when it doesn't sink in when it's sitting on the table. It just kind of stays nice and flat. But you can add, you know, any amount of moss or anything, other kind of embellishments that you might want to. On this one, you could probably add some stickles to give some sparkle and stuff here and there. So yeah, with the Halloween version, you could turn it into a Christmas one with different papers. Just more of a Gothic Christmas. I wouldn't use my Gothic paper with it. So, but you know, if you have holiday papers, you could do it out of the holiday version. But I have so many Christmas projects that I want to do that I don't really want to go. If one of the Christmas papers, I could do the exterior papers really quickly for a Christmas one, and make it coordinate with one of the Christmas papers I end up doing for a Christmas project coming up. I'm just, you know, I'm just starting to feel the heavy duty hardcore pressure of time at this point. It's the middle of almost the middle of October already, and Christmas is going to be here before we blink. And I like to have Christmas projects done before December. So, you know, I've been talking about the village, and I don't know what people want to do, if people want to do the village or not. I'm not getting much feedback, because I have like 2 or 3 people who say yes on the show, but I don't get much other feedback. So I'm not terribly inclined to do the village, because I just don't think there's enough interest in doing the village. And so I'm still just trying to figure out what I want to do for Christmas projects. Yeah, Deborah, you say yes to it. I have about 4 to 5, maybe 4 or 5 people who say yes to a village. I know you haven't seen it, but I don't want to proceed further on it if people are not wanting a village. So it's really tough to move forward with stuff when I do have, you know, 5 or 6 of you. And I'm not discounting the 5 or 6 of you that do want it. I'm not in any way, shape, or form discounting you. But I don't know how many more people want to do it. And it's just, so I hate to do it. And then people don't really want that one, you know, because I have multiple Christmas ideas. And I'm inclined to want to do a bunch of smaller Christmas projects rather than a major one. I mean, I'd love to do my nativity with my digital papers, but I'm not sure. You know, it's so hard to second guess what people want anymore. Everybody tells me, oh, do what you want to do, but that doesn't always work. So I'm I don't know what I want to work on. But the problem is with crafting from your stash, and I love that. I love that. But the problem is then I put a ton of work into it. But if everybody's using their stash, and all I don't get it. This sounds really bad, and I don't want to say this, but I get nothing out of it if everybody uses their stash. And so if I don't sell anything, then it doesn't help my situation at all. So, and then that just sounds horrible. So I don't know. As I said, I'm in not a good place today. So today's probably not a good day to talk about all of this stuff. So do what's most fun for me. Well, you know what? This also sounds bad, but I don't have a lot of fun anymore with this. Because I'm under the gun and it's under constant pressure. I used to be able to stay in front of it and I loved it. But, once I got behind about 2 years ago, and I have spent 2 years trying to catch up, it's just not fun. It's not fun being under the constant pressure. So, and I don't want to get all emotional, so I'm just going to drop the subject at this point. I'll figure it all out, and I'll get excited again. I always do. So... Anyway, so we at least I still have to do the box for it, and I'll get the box done before we start on the album. So, but you can see how the papers then are going to go. I tried to pick up on some of the same colors. So I'm excited. I'm excited about these papers and doing the album that goes inside. And so we'll do a page or so inside this one and a page or so inside the other one. So it's been fun kind of going back. It wasn't what I intended. That's my problem when I go back and do projects, is because I change them too much, because I think, oh, I'm just going to use the existing pattern. And then I forgot that pattern was done on Publisher, and I don't use Publisher anymore, so I couldn't reuse the pattern and just tweak it. I had to rewrite it all over again. And so it kind of defeated the purpose of trying to use an old project, so I didn't have to. But then that's me. I can't leave well enough alone. I have to monk with the stuff, so... I have so many ideas that I can't get to because I got to get these other ones done in front of them. So this one I slipped in, which probably wasn't the smartest move, but it is what it is. So I'm happy with it, and I'm glad all of you are happy with it, and I hope everybody's able to get theirs done in time to use it for... I'm trying to hide the spider there so that Lois doesn't panic with the spider, so I have it set so that she can't see the spider. So anyway, alrighty guys, I'm gonna let you guys all go. We're a few minutes early, but we've got done what I had planned to do today in class, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you go because I gotta go figure out dinner and all that kind of good stuff. Now we will be back on Friday, at least I think we will on Friday, to start the Mystery Book Club card. If I decide that I need to spend the time on getting the book 5 patterns done, I may decide to do that and start this one next week, but I'm not sure yet. So you have to keep an eye out on the website, which I didn't get up till this afternoon, or on Paper Doodles, where Joy posts, what we've got going on next. So, so keep an eye on that as to make sure that class is happening on Friday. We should be starting the cards on Friday, but if I need time to just catch up a little bit, we might take that Friday and start them the following Friday. So, alrighty guys. But if we do on Friday, class will be at 10 o'clock Pacific, my usual Friday time, and on Sunday it will be at 4 o'clock Pacific. What is Y? Oh, you're welcome is YW. So thank you so much to both Joy and to Lois, as always. I know Joy is running on fumes because she was up for a job at 4 a.m. and then they canceled on her. I just think it sucks that she doesn't get paid when those kinds of things happen. But she and I have had that discussion. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys all go. Everybody have an amazing, amazing rest of your week. And hopefully we'll see you on Friday. My guess is we probably will have Friday show, but I'm not going to make that commitment until probably tomorrow sometime. So, alrighty. Thanks to everybody for stopping in, and we will see you, if not Friday, on Sunday. So peace out. Love you guys all bunches. Bye for now. Oh my goodness, I didn't record any of that. I'll have to figure out how to get it off of the YouTube recording then, because I did not get any of that recorded. I'll see how, I gotta figure out how I can because I don't want to put it up on YouTube, so I gotta figure out how I can download off of YouTube to put it up on my website. So the one time nobody asked if I was recording. I just want to shoot. No, I didn't. Oh well. Alrighty guys, I'll figure it out. We'll talk to you later.